welcome, guys, to the show. Just wanted to say thank you guys for all coming. This is going to be something a little bit different. We have Mark, the Super Samoan. We have him to the left right here, Markhunt. Markhunt, he's a legend. If you guys don't know him, he's done K1. He was in Pride. He was also in the UFC, and a very, very, very good fighter. I'm a big fan of him, and we have him right here. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, babe. Hey, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
No. Thank you for taking the time. I know, again, like I said, it's a little bit harder, especially when you're in different time zones, to get things going and stuff. But again, thank you for taking some time out.
Yeah, no, all the time, man. Appreciate it for having me on. It's all good. Yep. There you go. Sorry, man. I'm just settling in, getting my lunch.
No, man, that's all right. Get comfortable and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Again, I've been watching you since I was in high school. I remember playing the K1 games, and my friend, I would be you, and my friend would be Ernesto Hoost, and we would go at it, and it was some good times and stuff. So it's crazy that I'm actually talking to you, and again, super big fan. And
yeah. What's funny, dude, is I was just talking to Ernesto on Instagram, so I'm like, and it's funny you bring that up. I was like, oh, so that's good. It's just talking to the champ himself, just on Insta. So it's good to hear you say that anyway. So yeah, I know I'm old, so but it is what it is. I've been fighting for about 3 decades. I think 3 decades, and still going strong. I think my resolve and my drive is a lot stronger than I am now than it was before. So I just really happy about finishing my career and looking forward to ending my career, which is a good thing, and finishing it off. Yeah, and happy about it too. Not as I was unhappy a few years back. So
yeah, definitely. That's something I think every fighter goes through, is like when to kind of call it quits. I mean, we've seen it with some really good fighters. We've seen it with Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, that they kind of, I don't know if it's ego or something, but they don't stop until they start getting damaged and start taking some really big risks in the ring. And
I think it's maybe just a fighter's mentality, I'd say. But I think they know. I think you know in your heart when you're done with it, and it's time to hang it up. As me, I mean, every fighter's different, but I think that's just the fighter's mentality. I mean, I feel like you're going forever, but in reality, we know that's not the truth. But being 46, I didn't finish my career as I'd like to, and and I'm just about to head into the next couple of years to finish it off. So I'm happy about that.
Definitely, I know that. Well, obviously, we'll end up talking about that eventually a little bit later down the show about UFC and kind of having that fallout that you had with them. But starting your career, I mean, you started. I was watching you back in the day in K1. I mean, K1. You were the 2001 K1 champion. So can you talk to me a little bit about your time over there?
Well, I spent about 10 years in Japan, and I loved every minute of it. I came from watching these guys in the big arenas, 60, 80,000 arenas, and then always feeling I could be doing the same thing, watching Ray Sheffield go over there, Jason Suddy, a few guys fighting over there, and on this side of the world, coming from there, and then actually being able to take part with the Oceania opening up because of Tarek Salek. But I didn't know. I think I was late into to the party, 27 years of age, and I won the world title in K1. The only person from this side of the world to do it, which is quite an honor, to be honest. And now that it's debunked, there's no more K1. It's a real privilege and honor to hold that the heavyweight title. So And the guys were, it was a great sport. It was a great spectacle. It was a, it was a tournament that if you got injured, you carried it to your next fight. And it was a matter of a mental fortitude at the end of the day. But some great fighters, Jerome Levana, Hoost, Lecco, all the, Francisco, but all the big names were in there, Ray. It was good to be part of that elite group.
Yeah, again, you had some great battles. I mean, again, K1 was so much fun to watch. I mean, I remember when I first started mixed martial arts and stuff. I did boxing for 2 years. And after boxing, I was like, you know what? I actually want to kick people. So then I joined kickboxing. And, I was like, you know what? I did a couple of years in kickboxing. Like, you know what? I want to actually take someone down and kind of punch their face in. And then it kind of transitioned into that. Was that like this almost similar to you? Because I know that you went from, obviously K1, then you jumped into Pride. So how was that? Was that something that you wanted to do, or?
Well, I started with my first fight in Muay Thai, and it was actually outside a nightclub brawl is what I got caught. Not caught, but the bouncer became my first trainer, and 4 days later, I was actually doing a Muay Thai fight in the actual nightclub called DTMs. I mean, and about a little while later, I mean, like 10 or maybe a bit more or less. No, about 5, 8 years down the track, guys from this way, Sam Greco, Stan the Man Longanese, all these guys are just doing kickboxing, and going towards the K1. We all knew where the boxers went, like Tyson, all those, but I didn't realize and see where the kickboxers went. But K1 is where they all went to, and that's why I ended up going, which was great. So I only ended up getting a shot at it when the Oceania opened up this side in Australia here. So Tarek Salak opened up the doors for the Oceania fighters, and I was lucky to take out the 2000 and 2001 Oceania before I got a full-time contract after winning the world title with K1. So pretty blessed. I'm still working a full-time job, and I won the world title and became a pro fighter.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that. That's
Yeah.
cool. So, wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing, man.
I start at 4:30 in the morning. I'll do my training. I'll go to my 8 hour job, and then I'll go and train. I didn't have a car, so I'd catch the bus down to the ferry, catch the ferry to the train station, and then go and train, and then vice versa back. So yeah,
Gotcha.
hard times, but it was good.
That's cool, man. And then again, I never knew that. See, and that especially, I tried that where I was like, again, going to the work and then going to training and stuff. But MMA gyms gotten so expensive, and kickboxing gotten so expensive. I know back in the day, I started boxing. It was 2009, and the boxing gym was like a little, little owned boxing ring it's called Tropical Park in Miami, and the guy $50 for the whole year, $50 the whole year. You had, you only had one ring, but at the same time, there was two guys that owned it. They kind of would watch you, but the guys that they were competing, those are the guys they kind of paid attention to a little bit more. Here and there, they would come in and show you, this is how you shadow box, this and that. I'll go run a couple miles, but they weren't too, like you said, committed to you, because obviously they had other fighters and stuff. But yeah, so
I was quite lucky though. I was quite lucky because I was training at the Mundine boxing gym, and it was only like $1 to train, and even if you didn't have $1, you could still train. So guys are in there were going in there to train, and was quite good. So Alex was down there training. I was just it was quite good because but I got pushed into the pro ranks straight away with boxing. One of the promoters there got me to turn pro on the night, and I wasn't even taking shit seriously. It was quite funny. He was helping his boy out, but in the end, it was crazy. It was good. It was a good start. It was an eye opener, to be honest. At the end of the day, so yeah.
And it's just, I believe Joe Rogan said it too. It's like you could take so much punishment. There's punches that I've watched majority of your videos, and there's some fights that I'm just like, how the hell did he take that and just keep walking? Like I'm just like, it just amazes me how you can take so much punishment and just keep going. Like it shrugged it off. I mean, you're talking about you've taken a shin to the dome to Mikro Krokop, which is ridiculous. Anyone who he kicks usually goes down, and you were just taking them like they were just like a little leg kick.
Yeah, have you met my dad? All these fights pale to comparison is what my dad used to do. So at the end of the day, these fights with these heavyweights are kind of minor. So.
Oh, really? So, I mean, coming from K1, what was your most difficult fight? I think I have one in mind, but in your opinion, which fight do you remember to this day? And you're like, man, that was a hell of a fight, or anything like that.
Yeah, I think the difficulty was trying to transition from and it wasn't no particular fight. It was a transition from the local league to the big time, and realizing you're actually part of the big time league.
Mm-hmm.
And actually trying to get used to that and go, oh wow, and then getting the proper training routine and management behind helping you with these sort of things. I mean, ain't no fighter, and I think you'd probably ask any fighter, ain't no fight or person that you fight with is going to change things. I think it's trying to adapt to becoming part of the big league with everything else surrounding that. Is because no one else was. It was hard because there was no one here to give a hand up the side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
They were probably doing their own thing. I mean, there was only a few guys actually doing it: Sam Greco, Stan, Ray. But I mean, you had to go and fall in the holes yourself to try and understand and get a grasp of the whole scenario.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so there wasn't any particular fight. It was just realizing that you were a part of the big league and you were one of the best fighters on the planet as a kick fighter.
Gotcha. And again, if no one's ever seen any, I mean, again, everyone should know who you are. I mean, you're a kickboxing legend, and you're also going to go down into the Hall of Fame for MMA because you transitioned to MMA and you did it. I mean, I think you did very well. Again, you went to Pride first, and how was the experience in Pride? Because again,
it was great. It was an eye opener, a different sport totally.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a white belt fighting with the black belts, but I did it the best I could, and I did pretty well. I mean, a lot of the fights that you did back then would be a lot different if you did it now. Like I said, a white belt fighting against black belts, but it was, it's the ultimate in fighting. To be honest, mixed martial arts is the ultimate in combat sports, and I've done all of them. So, being a mixed martial artist is the complete fighter, and trying to top that. Like I said, I've been trying to get the world title in the MMA sport, and I haven't got it yet. So, hopefully I can get it within 6 fights to finish my career.
It doesn't even matter if you never got a world title or anything like that. You're going to go down as one of the greatest fighters. I mean, someone who takes a 3-day. Well, it was the Vanderlei Silva fight that you took in 3 days notice. Like that, no one does that just to do it like that. That's
I cut a good deal, man. I cut a good deal. I cut the greatest deal I ever cut, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is some serious coin. And that was back then. It was back then. I was like, whoa. So, I was all for going on. And, when she said to me, oh, they want to see, the Japanese want to see their champion fight, I'm like, yes, they're going to see him fight, all right? Vanderlei's the champion, so I just wanted to, I was just making the numbers up, but it ended up being a great fight. I don't think you'll last a round with me these days, but that is what it is,
I mean, again, that's a classic fight. If no one's seen it, I mean, you rocked them a bunch of times in that, and the Japanese crowd, it's so different from the American crowds. Did you like the Japanese crowds? I'm a big fan of the Japanese crowds because they're so respectful, and when when they're on the ground, it's quiet, but when something happens, they start applauding and stuff like that. What do you think the difference, or do you like the Japanese crowd compared to the American crowd, or it really doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter to me. Both is quite good. I mean, the Westerners like us, we all, as soon as someone drops a hat, we're fucking screaming for someone's blood, But with the Japanese, they want to see someone get fucked up before they start warming up. You know what I mean? So it's still a good thing. I mean, either or is fine for me. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's like the Japanese were on COVID way before it even started. You know what I mean? So they're all quiet and watching someone. Oh, it was like fighting in front of no crowd. But yeah, I don't mind either or. The Western crowds like us and the Japanese crowd. So it doesn't matter for me. The stadium's a stadium, and it's still good to be part of it.
Yeah. Who was your who was your fight camp when you first started Pride?
I was supposed to go and train with Bas Rutten in LA. They paid me $40,000 to go train, but I just kept the money and just went and trained in NZ with the guy named Steve Oliver.
Okay.
So he was a jiu-jitsu guy, and Steve is a great guy. He's still a friend to this day. But I just felt to just stay local and just keep the money. So
I mean, things were different back then and stuff. Cause I know that again, with your style, stand up is key for you. So I probably would want to work on the ground game. So that makes sense that you would go to jiu-jitsu coach and stuff like that. Now, coming from Pride, I mean, you fought Mikro Krokop in K1, and then you fought him again in Pride. You fought Alistair Overeem. I mean, you had a bunch of people that you fought. Now, when you're preparing for a fight, especially in Pride, is it the same? You go into every fight, or you change it up a little bit, do something different? Because I know the Pride again, it's no one knows. Because I mean, obviously, it's been bought out. Pride used to do like the show. It was almost like a show and a fight at the same time. They had in the beginning, they had all that good stuff, and they have performers, and they had dragons, and they had all that music and stuff. So how was it adapting to from coming from K1 as well?
It was a different, like it was a different event. K1 was just as good, and so was Pride. The event was great. It was just a different sport, to be honest, and just getting used to doing fight camps. I came from a kickboxing where you don't need to do. You just train with your trainer, and with MMA, you've got to go do a fight camp, get guys to come train with you. Prepare yourself properly. But it took a while. It took a long while for me to realize these sort of things. And that's it was. I think I was into the UFC career by then, as I was trying to change the way I trained. To be honest, sometimes I got caught short notice. A lot of times I didn't even train. So, but it is what it is, and that's how it works out to be. At the end of the day. So.
Definitely.
I mean, I haven't lost a fight when I've had a great camp. There's no way I've lost a fight, but a lot of times I got caught short. So.
Okay. And then so from Pride, you went to UFC, right? You started UFC, and I was
Pride to Dream, and then to UFC.
Dream. And once you got there, I mean, because I was. Again, there was still transitioning a bunch of fighters from Pride to UFC. You had Shogun, you had Vandalay, you had Mikro Krokop, which they weren't the same fighters they were in Pride. Let's just say that, And then you came along, and I remember I was stoked because, I mean, it's Markhunt, he's coming in. You had what Randy called it, the Samoan butt drop, where you just jump on someone when they're on the ground and stuff. And I was really excited. And you started just destroying the competition in UFC. I mean, you've beaten Chikongo, you've beaten Frank Mir, you beat Big Country, and you started getting the name like the walk-off, like the knockout walk-off, right? Where the guy is basically knocked out already, and the ref hasn't stopped it, but you decide like, hey, it's over, When did you get that? Like, is that like something like that's inside you? Because a lot of fighters, they see someone go down, their first like immediate impression is to, get on top of them and ground and pound. But you didn't do that. You just like kind of walk it off and let the referee decide like, hey, it's over. How do you know when it's over and when it's not over?
I mean, sometimes most of the time you can tell when the person doesn't come after you. I mean, he's been hit hard, and then I mean, if he starts clawing at you, he's still around.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, but when when he's not home and his soul's gone somewhere else, he's out. He's no way he's coming after you. So I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who was the first person you fought in the UFC? I know it was like back in.
A guy named Sean McCorkle. He got me with a easy Kimura. So it was
That was your first
not
fight
good
here.
times. Yep,
Mhm.
that wasn't good times to start with, and that was at Indiana.
And then most of your losses came from via submission or decision. And
Submission.
yep, submissions were one of the things that. Um, but other than that, man, I loved you watching you in UFC and stuff. When you finished Big Country, you're one of the ones that finished Big Country, and he never got stopped before. And I remember that uppercut was nasty, and you made him face plant, which was nice.
We all have those face planting moments. I got face planted by that fucking cheetah, Alistair Steroid.
Yeah, I remember that fight as well. Now, when you went to the UFC, what was the contract? Usually, it's a 3 fight a year contract, correct? Or am I wrong?
I can't remember what the first contract was, and I don't know. Those guys are will be trying to sue me for anything I say, so I don't really know.
Yeah, and if you could if explain towards the end of your career what happened. I know that you didn't want to sign another contract and stuff like that, and there was like a little bit of negotiation and stuff, and you didn't want to. You wanted to go elsewhere. You didn't want to fight anymore in the UFC.
Well, I was unhappy about 5 years out of my contract, the way they did things, and I just went from one cheater to another. It was like I think it was like 5 or 7 in a row.
Yeah, five.
I mean, it got to the point where the last fight they forced me to fight against Alistair Overeem, where I just said, look, before that they tried to get me to fight Josh Barnett, and I said he's a cheater. I wanted to fight this guy. Maybe put a clause, and not maybe put a clause in that he doesn't get no funds if he gets caught, and they wouldn't do it. So, but he popped 2 days after we were talking, and
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing about it. So, but then they gave me this other guy, Alistair Overeem, and then but this time they didn't put the clause and they didn't ask me. They said they're gonna fire me if I don't take the fight. And I'm like, this wow, that's pretty good. You got to take my livelihood because I don't want to fight a steroid cheater.
Hmm.
And that's what they did. So and even when we had the fight, I mean, they were banning IVs. They gave that guy 2 IVs and said because he was sick. Not only did they force me to fight that guy, but because he's a cheater, and then they allowed him IVs, and so after that, I mean, I just dropped the lawsuit and I said, I'm done with this rubbish. You guys are they're just scumbags at the end of the day. And I just got really bitter. So every fight, I didn't really, I was like, why should I work for this company? They're just promoting guys on steroids and everything. I mean, there's no way. And even when I lost the fights, I don't consider it as a loss because these guys are cheating.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even enforce any of their contracts. The UFC, they don't enforce them at all. They just let the guys get away with it. So it was just at the end of the day, it was just no point for me. I was like, this is no point. There's no way I'm going to ever get close to the world title. They just keep giving you guys cheaters that don't enforce their contract laws, but yet they try to enforce it when you don't do it. So it got bitter at the end because every time it came to fight week, I was always arguing and saying something about why aren't they doing things about this sort of thing, and it just became a bitter feud, and I was in a lawsuit at the time, so I'm in two lawsuits against these guys, and I just if you think about it, I mean, why would you want to even compete against this and fight? Even now, look at look at what's happening now with the fighters asking for more money. I mean, shucks, it's
Yep.
just I was arguing with these guys 7 or 8 years ago about a better pay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized when I joined in this the class action of the Ali Act, I realized, okay, so we're only sharing 20% of the revenue. wow, so that's why you're only making like $1 million a lot of money.
Yep.
You know, why shouldn't these guys be making Anthony Joshua money or Tyson Fury money? I mean, these guys are the most complete athletes in the world, getting pummeled, and they're getting fucking trying to make $1 million, which is a joke.
Hmm.
So 20% of the revenue isn't even close to what they should be getting, whereas the gridiron players share about, the boxers share about 40 or 50%. So even back 8 years, a long time ago, when I was trying to get more money, this the steroid thing came to the forefront for me, and then I dropped the lawsuit and just wanted to move on. At the end of the day, I mean, it's just I've said it in other podcasts, and I've realized this because I don't come and speak this from the couch. I've already been in this company, come out of the company. I've been in some of the biggest companies in the world, and for this company, what annoys me the most about them is that they say, we've got the best policies and testing and all these enforcement things. They don't do any of it.
Hmm. Okay.
Why have all the best policies and all these enforcement things when you own USADA and you're part of it? I mean, it's just a joke. There's no prestige in this title. There's no money in the title, and that's all these people. You can see it by all the champions asking more money,
Hmm.
and these fighters are getting pumped. I mean, look, I saw some pictures on the social media this week about the last fights with the Hangman and Poirier, and I'm like, man, these guys are getting. They give their lives for that for this company, and they're getting freaking chump change.
Yeah.
It's just a joke, and all you hear is from all these fans of these companies is all these excuses about why they should only pay 20%. I mean, look at these guys' faces. Look how they're
Yep.
fighting.
Yeah.
For what? For fucking 500. I know it's a lot of money, but think about it.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
just a joke.
a lot of people don't know like the medical costs after and all that. That I mean, that
I
comes
mean,
out.
well, look, even their medical is crap. I mean, look at Mark Coleman. Look at Tim Sylvia. Those guys have to GoFundMe their injuries to try and get it paid for. I mean, and they were injuries caused at work for the UFC. And then
Hmm.
the UFC says, "Oh, we don't have the health policy." Well, you do now.
Hmm.
These guys were there before anyone was and was a champion. Yet look how you guys treat them. These guys are just scumbags. I have zero respect for this company. All these guys that organize this, it's just a joke.
No, I understand. And again, those fight, and I believe there were five. The last five fights you had were almost all of them tested positive. There was Brock Lesnar.
I was just over it. It doesn't matter for me. I was like, you know what? I'm over this. I just, if they'd paid me, I would have walked away.
Hmm.
But I had to go and fight. I was just going to walk in and chuck in the towel. I was so upset at this shit company because there's no way I was getting anywhere.
Hmm.
People have to realize that. I mean, it was an uphill battle. It was not only these guys cheating, but the company's cheating too. Fuck. So you're not going to win. Like,
No, I understand. And again, you had one of the greatest battles. Again, the guy tested was Bigfoot Silva. The first fight he tested, I think was it like 3 days before he tested positive, and they still fought, and you still gave him it was a great fight. I mean, that was probably one of the best heavyweight fights in UFC history. And then to show you after that, the second fight, you put him away in the first round when he was off the juice. So it just shows you.
I would have put anyone away. I had a great camp, but with that fight, what disappointed me of that fight was that he got a 9-month ban and still came back and fought before I did. It took me a year to get over my injury, 16 screws in my hand, and I watched him compete before I did it and earn money before I did. I was like, this is what you get fighting at the top end of UFC. This is what you get. Nothing. Just fucking heartache and just wasting your time. And I want all the boys and girls to see this. This is what you'll get from this company. Just fucking nothing. Just all you'll get is, I need more money. I need this. I need my fucking arm is broken. I can't work anymore. Oh, can the UFC look after it? Nah, we don't look after that shit. Only on the night we'll look after it, but not for the rest of your life because you're not with us anymore. Company's just a crooked company, man.
So and that's one of the reasons why it's good to have these discussions and stuff, because a lot of people don't, they don't see the what the companies are doing and stuff and how they treat their fighters and stuff. Nowadays, though, like you said, with the whole people asking for a lot more money, the fighters now, I mean, a lot more fighters are kind of uniting. They kind of see what's happening and they're trying to do something at least. I know you had Conor McGregor, and then you had what's his name, the the Cuban guy. Oh my god, I have a brain fart. He has a beard. Oh my god. Whatever. He's also
Jorge,
Usman.
Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, George Masvidal. He comes out and said, "I'm not gonna do this," and he has a very valid point and stuff. He's really upset. He's like,
Everybody's, and the sad thing about it, those guys are going to be benched. They're not going to be earning any money for the next 2 years, and that's what the UFC do. They, if you don't agree, sign the contract before your contract ends, you don't get a fight. They're benched for the next 2 years if they come to agreement. So the only thing the UFC fighters can do is just say, "I'm not going to fight." None of you can just say, "I don't want to fight." This company is in the toilet. It can't go anywhere. It's sold its ass everywhere. And if all the fighters just say, when there's 1,200 of them, say, I'm not going to fight until we get a fair share of the revenue. And that's when the time things will change. And right now, nothing's going to happen at all. I mean, it's easy how to fix this.
yeah.
It's easy how to fix this, but it's hard for people to just take that step and say, okay, and people make these dumb excuses like, oh, they're still employing people. They're fucking on their knees.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell, and they call themselves they're on their knees fighting for fucking just to survive. It's a joke. You know what I mean? So I've said it many, many times, and I'm just tired of saying it. I've been saying it for the last 8 years, 9 years.
Do you see it going anywhere with all the fighters now kind of saying no, or you think this is just gonna snowball over and people are just gonna fight? Like I think Dana White said it. He's like, I have fighters that are gonna fight whoever's gonna step up.
That's the problem.
Yep.
That is the problem. These guys that come and undercut these other guys, and they shouldn't be undercutting them. So, and the problem is when these guys that undercut them go and take the fight, and they try to, and when they get to the other point where they say, I need more money, they're going to be laughed at.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's going to go, oh, do you want more money? Is that what you're saying? Okay, then you just wait at the back of the bus there. Okay, I'll go get someone else that'll take you business. The same thing you did to him, you're going to get done to. It's going to be like that forever and ever until, I mean, it's just a joke. People say, they just want to go and fight. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Unfortunately, I mean, what's come down to again, now they have
The only thing that's going to change is when this Ali Act is won, this lawsuit's won, and that's when you're going to see how things how much profit these guys have been screwing everyone over for, and that's when you'll see when it comes through the courts. I mean, a lot of information's already come out from the courts because of this class action lawsuit. It's just a matter of time.
Unfortunately, and again, you had a stellar career, and unfortunately, that's what it is right now for fighters. You know, they're not getting what they do. They bust their ass the whole night. They get injuries during the fight. Sometimes they go into fight camps injured, and they have to they try to get that check, and it's a problem. It's a problem, and we'll see. Like I said, we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully, like you said, hopefully, things will change. But right now, it doesn't look so pretty right now. But did you see any of the fights? What was it, 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
No, I don't watch I don't even, like I said, I don't even.
You don't even bother with that?
I don't bother with anything with the UFC. Like I said, the company is just thieves and they're stealing up all the fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw some pictures. I have friends on Facebook, and I saw some of their pictures, and I'm like, oh god. So, like I said, I don't support, and I don't think anyone else should support, because unless they're just interested in seeing people get fucked up, then go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're thinking about supporting that your favorite fighter, you're not.
Yeah. Have you seen any other organizations out there that you're watching? Like one championship? Do you watch any of that by any chance, or no? Not really.
I don't watch any MMA. It's just like I said, I don't watch any MMA. I just.
Oh, really? So you
my
kind of dropped it off. You dropped it off then.
Oh, dude, it's just I know what it's like at the top end. They're just thieves. what's the point of working, busting your ass your whole life to get to the pinnacle of something, and then you realize there's more sharks in that fucking pool. You just go, well, which way am I turning to gonna get screwed from this time?
Okay.
Fucking house managers or fucking this company. I mean, yeah. So at the end of the day, I just what, fuck this shit, fuck this company, drop the lawsuits,
Mhm.
join the other lawsuit, and that's the only way you're gonna make things even. The only way. There's no way you can do it otherwise.
So, quick question. What does Mark the Super Samoan Hunt do now? What do you do now?
Well, I'm just training. I've organized a couple more. I want to finish my career. I've got a fight coming up soon
Okay.
in October. I've got a lot of businesses I'm running.
Okay.
At the end of the day, so I spend my time. I'm just I finished training about a couple of hours ago, and I'm just playing zombies at the moment and just chilling out. So
That's cool.
yeah, I
That's
don't
cool.
really do much at all. I just train
All right.
and like I said, I want to finish my career happy when I make some coin, and I got
Mhm.
a lot of business. I've got great business partners. Thank God. Otherwise, I would have been in a lot of trouble with a lot of things, especially with what they were paying you.
Mhm.
Um, people say you've got paid a lot of money. I got paid what I deserve. I got paid under what I deserve. I deserve way more than what I should to be fighting at the
Yeah.
top end of the UFC for years and years and years. So don't tell me that they paid me well. I deserve to get paid way above average. Okay, I'm not
Mhm.
a I wasn't in the top 10 of the UFC for 1 year or two. I was in there for a long, long time.
Mhm. Who's your next opponent? Who are you fighting?
We'll see. I can't really say much at the moment. So
Oh, you can't. No, that's no problem. No, no, that's fine with me, man. And you said
yeah,
that's gonna be in October, correct?
yeah, it's in October here in my home of Australia. So yeah,
So
looking forward to that. So it's been a long time. I think it's been like nearly 2 years, but I was unhappy for about 7 working for UFC. They just stole my love for fighting. They stole it
Mhm.
with all their crookery and their crooked shit. After 2 years, I'm not thinking now I'm finally, I'm excited. I'm back in training, and yeah, I'm looking forward to ending my career happy.
All right. So and then that would be your last fight, you said, or no? That's
No, it's one of the 6 that I want. So
one of the
it's
six.
one fight, and I've got like 5 more. So I'll be ending my career hopefully the end of next year, or a little bit in the earlier the start of I should be 57, 47 and a half.
Okay.
57.
And
Fucking
and
hell.
again, man, I'm rooting for you. I'm always rooting for you. You've been a fan favorite. I mean, you're a cool guy, and your fights you bring the fight. You always have. There's never been a boring Markhunt fight. I'll tell you that. And I was watching a couple of highlights, and my son was in there. He was just, I think, like in Oz. There was a bunch of like pride fights, and he was just like, his mouth was open. He's like, man, that's crazy. I go, yeah, that's a fighter right there. I mean, it was
He's probably
awesome.
going, it's like they're probably the Japanese. They're like, look at this chubby guy. He's competing with these muscly guys. How could he compete with
No, man,
this
you
short,
know
chubby
what?
guy? How did this guy?
It's I love watching your fights, and again, I do appreciate you just hanging out and just talking some fights and about MMA with me and stuff. I do appreciate it a lot.
Hey, I'm
And
all good.
again,
I'm all good, man.
I know
Like I said, I don't mind doing podcasts. I just love spreading the message, especially about myself and the things that I've gone through with different things. Most people know me because of me being upset with UFC and suing them, but I don't just talk about it. I've explained the reasons why I did this, and why I'm doing this. It was none of my intention to be suing this billion-dollar company. I mean, I have no money. I just wanted a fair fight, and I never got that with UFC. Never, not in one instance did I ever get a fair fight at all. They just ripped you as soon as you turned your back.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you spreading the word, you going on different podcasts, you having your
I
voice.
have to.
Yeah, it will
It's it's
open
it's,
up,
it's my
for
duty.
especially
It's
for younger fighters that are up and
yeah.
coming and stuff. They
I
can
mean,
check this out and stuff.
although I'm out of the company for like nearly 3 years or something, but it's my duty as a guy that used to be in there, to let everyone else know. And you didn't even have to listen to me. You just look at the fighters that are actually current in there, complaining about not getting enough money for what they should be getting. I mean, the fighters that were in the start of this company when it first started, that were the champions, GoFunding money to get an operation done. It's just so sad. So it's
You
my
said that
duty.
was Tim Sylvia, and you said Mark Coleman were one of the people doing it.
Yeah, two
Damn.
guys, and I just come across it by accident. But it's my duty to spread this message for
Definitely.
all those people coming from China being a mixed martial artist fighter. And that's the main thing. I mean, right now the UFC have monopoly and they had it for a long, long time. And they control, and how they try when another company comes through, they buy it up and disperse the company and keep the monopoly, which is what they do. But as a fighter, as a former fighter, I'm just spilling the beans about what I've experienced with these guys.
Definitely. But you know what? Again, it's good that you keep spreading that message. You keep talking to people, keep talking to podcasts about it, and that's the only way people will actually end up.
Get educated.
Yep.
Yeah, it's only other way people will know about it because I mean, if someone had told me this before I got on a job like this, I think twice about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then I think, well, how does things change? And there's easy ways to things change, but at least you'll know, so you can
Yep.
make a informed decision instead of going, okay, it is what it is. But you've got to, at least people, at least no, you can't say, well, no one told me. Well,
Yeah.
when I
Definitely.
was coming through, no one told me a lot of shit. I had to learn it myself.
Yeah. Unfortunately. And I just want to say, we'll probably wrap it up now and stuff like that, but I don't want to keep you too long. But I just do want to say,
Yeah.
I do appreciate you being here again. Big fan. Looking forward for your fight in October, and I wish you nothing but happiness, man. At least you're out now, and you seem like you have that passion still to fight. Seem happier.
Well,
I know it was
I've
just
got it back now, and yeah, I've got it back, and it's good to spread the word. And thanks for having the podcast. I mean, like I said, I do as many as I can. If people ask me to do it, I just do it because it helps spread the message and the word. So hopefully we come up trumps with these two lawsuits and change the landscape of MMA because it's about all we can do these days.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And again,
So,
whenever you want to come on, you're always welcome back on the show, man. I always leave the door open because, again, we can always talk some fights. We can talk about some pride fights, K1 fights, whatever. You don't even have to talk about fighting. We can talk about whatever you want. We talk about some football, even though my channel is mostly about football. But right now, I like I've always been an MMA fan and a mixed martial arts fan. So we'll leave the football for later.
oh, well, good man. At the moment, I'll be a fan of football than MMA at the moment. 'Cause,
There you go.
well, hey man, to see the MMA is like, oh, for me, it just makes you feel sad because you know what they're in. You
Hmm.
know what they're battling, you know what they're in, and you're just like, you know what? It just turns me off. I don't want to support that. I
Hmm.
don't want to support these slave drivers, and I don't want to support these other guys, these celebrities, and these people already making money off these people and they know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm not for that, and I want to support that. So anyway, thanks for the time. I appreciate you having me on the show.
No, thank you. Thank you. Mark Hunt, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Hunt.
Take it easy.
Have a good one.